Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And yes, today we are going to be talking about Hedera, aka Hbar. So sit back, relax, and before we fully jump on into this video, I just want to ask if you guys could please leave a like on this video. It does help the channel grow immensely. And also, if you do find any of the information in this video valuable or interesting at all, definitely consider subscribing and turning notifications on, and I will be greatly appreciative of that as well. Now, overall, we did see Bitcoin kind of take a little bit of a turn today, especially for the wars, but it was something that we expected. In fact, from my XRP video, you've probably seen these numbers already. If you guys did watch that video, we did come down and test those September lows almost to the T, as you guys do see down here. I was expecting the 702 area to actually kind of hold at the 40.8K zone, but of course wicks below it were more so welcomed. The next major point that we would be testing would be about the 37.5K zone. That would be the August lows that we test. Of course, that is not invalidated just yet, but we have seen the RSI at extremely oversold levels here. In fact, it's the same levels that we've seen back in December, but these are levels that we haven't seen since May of 2021. As you guys are probably all aware, that's when we had that deep correction as well. So I'm just saying, in terms of RSI, I do believe that we are extremely oversold on the daily. I know a lot of people are probably focusing on the 4-hour and stuff like that. I just kind of look at the daily currently, because I do think that right now, looking at a macro view is probably the safest bet to really kind of see where we are in terms of the overall market structure. I'm still very bullish on 2022. Now, I do want to talk to you guys about Hbar, because, when we're talking about a lot of my altcoin holdings, Hbar definitely is at the top tier list. It was my number one holding for a very long time. Of course, Casper is now beating it. You guys already probably know that by now, especially if you watch my Casper videos. But we have came down and tested about 25 cents, almost exact, at 25.11. I told you guys that we could test about 22 to 25 cents in my live stream from the other day. That's going back as far as like Thursday or Friday. But of course, am I concerned? Am I worried? Absolutely not. As you guys are probably all aware, I've told you guys multiple times, I'm not really focused on the short-term price action on a lot of these altcoin holdings. I'm not really worried about the market structure either until we do lose my key level, which is, that's right, the 786, aka the 37.5K zone. I know that a lot of people have been calling for a lot lower at around like 30K and stuff like that. Honestly, I do think that if we lose this point here, I think that the structure is going to get fairly messy very fast. But of course, that's just my opinion. Now, let's talk about some updates within the Hedera community. So first off, I tweeted this out today saying, the crazy thing about Hbar is that we are already in the top 30 with little to no marketing, with so much still left to be announced, like GC members, NFT marketplaces, DeFi use cases, scalable smart contracts, staking, and so much. It's truly mind-blowing. Hbar will soon take over. Now, the reason why I tweet this out and the reason why I'm talking to you guys about this is because currently right now when we're talking about the top 10, right? First off, we look at Ethereum and we almost laugh, right? We almost laugh when we look at Ethereum because we know that ETH is pretty much almost unusable. We also know that Solana is very, very poor in terms of its overall infrastructure. ADA, again, we almost laugh at ADA. In general, the reason why I talk to you guys about these assets and the reason why we pretty much kind of look down on these assets is because we know that there's a lot of main issues with these that are pretty much groundbreaking issues as well. For example, I don't know if you guys missed this, but essentially they were saying that Ethereum is going to touch 50% of the world's financial transactions. It's going to grasp that. I laughed at this because Ethereum and Bitcoin are unusable pretty much for financial transactions like this. Bitcoin definitely. Ethereum can be used if you have the money, of course, because the transaction gas fees are extremely high. Now, scalability issues with Ethereum are fairly rough, and of course we do see down here, if you roll the clock forward 10 to 20 years, a very sizable percent, maybe even north of 50% of the world's financial transactions in some way, shape, or form will touch Ethereum, and I honestly doubt this. I doubt this greatly because I believe that when we're talking about the future transactions, they're going to be on things like XRP, on Hbar, things that are more so sustainable, a lot more scalable, and things like, for example, even Casper. I talked to you guys about Casper a lot because it's essentially Ethereum 3.0 before Ethereum 2.0 is here. And of course, I do have a Casper video coming today, so definitely keep a close eye out on that if you guys are looking for that. But they are talking more so about the dominance with the rise of DeFi and NFT trading. These include the likes of Solana, Avalanche, and Polkadot. There's going to be a lot of competitiveness into this market, a lot of rivals as well. I don't know. In my mind, Ethereum is kind of old age technology at this point, and with Ethereum 2.0 being promised for now almost like 6 years, I just think it's laughable. And we do see here there's too many trade-offs. Other chains are making that Ethereum is not making on the decentralization side that are pretty important. I don't know if they're best suited to be the new global financial settlement layer. In my mind, Ethereum is not decentralized. If you guys are paying attention to the, XRP lawsuit, you'd understand that Ethereum is probably one of the most centralized assets in the space. And that's right, it's the number 2 crypto asset, and it's pretty much extremely centralized. Overall, we know that Ethereum is almost unusable due to scalability and cost problems, but also let's talk about Solana, because Solana has massive issues as well. Scalability or stability. Solana network outages show work still needed. I actually talked to you guys about this article back in December. The reason why I bring it back up is because we're still focusing on the idea that when we're talking about a lot of these top tier assets in the space, yeah, sure, they're called Ethereum killers, they're called this, they're called that. Oh, they're pumping up in prices. That means that it has to be good, right? All because an asset does massive runs. Like, for example, let's go off of the, all-time low. This did about a 30,000% increase in price. It's still ROI factors are like about almost 69,000%. 69,000. But in general, when we're talking about Solana, right? Like, in my mind, yeah, there's a lot of gains behind a lot of these assets, but in general, are they actually going to be, future-proof? Are they going to be, something that you could hold comfortably long-term? In my mind, no, they're not, because there's going to be something that's going to be better, that's going to be more scalable, more secure. It's already here, okay? And of course, you do see here, Coinbase exec says, major Ethereum scaling improvements coming soon. We have been hearing this forever. They're talking about Ethereum 2.0. I am optimistic about improvements in Ethereum scalability with the emergence of ETH2 and many L2 rollups. This is laughable. The reason why I talk to you guys about this is because when we're talking about these major assets, like Ethereum is number 2 in this market. It has almost 20% market dominance, and they are still trying to fix the network. It's been in this market since around like 2014. It's been being worked on since 2014, I should say. It is almost 10 years, and this network is still not ready for global mass adoption. But guess what is? Hedera. And it's not because I'm biased. It's because we're already seeing this. We're hitting 2 billion transactions. We just hit 2 billion transactions. We are literally doing 3.4 million transactions currently right now on the 1 day span. If we go back on the 1 week span, you can pretty much see the daily transactions here. We hit about 4.7 million on the 7th, but we are doing about 28.6 million transactions a week. What is that a month? Well, let's look at it. Let's see it load. So 126.1, almost 0.2 million transactions a month. And that's right, in 1 year. All right? Hedera has done more transactions than Ethereum has done since its inception. And we are light years ahead of ADA. Don't even bring up ADA compared to Hbar. The reason why I talk to you guys about the scalability problems on a lot of these networks is because Hedera hasn't even hit the full scalable, point yet. We're throttled at 10,000 transactions per second. And when we're talking about us doing like 500,000 transactions per second on one shard alone, and of course we do see sharding pretty much being implemented at some point in time, that's going to be huge. Unlimited transactions per second, I don't know if you guys are as bullish as I am on that, but unlimited transactions per second means a lot to a lot of these major financial institutions. But guess what is the next major winning, pro behind these assets? Or I should say, it's a huge issue and concern for them. That's right. We see this. Crypto security is the biggest concern for institutional investors. When we're talking about crypto security, first off, I've said it multiple times. Okay, being ABFT, in terms of the consensus mechanism, that is huge for Hedera because it allows for these massive institutional investors to jump into an asset that they know is a perfect long-term hold. We actually see here, the survey of institutional investors and wealth managers who collectively manage around $108.4 billion showed 79% see asset custody as the key consideration whether to invest in this space. And of course, we do see here, this was followed by 67% who said price volatility, 56% who cited market cap, and 49% who said the regulatory environment. And of course, 12% included the carbon footprint from Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in their top 3 reasons for not investing. Now, in general, when we're talking about securities, in terms of, regulations and stuff, I think that we are going to see a lot of that pretty much moving into the space. But in general, I believe where we're really kind of focusing on, whether an asset is investable long-term or short-term, we actually really look at Hbar as a very safe haven to really kind of put your money in. I almost look at Hbar as a savings account. I almost look at it as a savings account that is going to generate me pretty much generational wealth. We're talking about, Hedera pretty much being a massive opportunity, before the next digital revolution. The reason why I say this is when we're talking about regulations and all this kind of stuff, we look at a few of the major use cases on Hedera. For example, TRM Labs, Digital Asset Compliance and Risk Management. Monitor, detect, and investigate crypto fraud and financial crime. So we know that anti-money laundering and, even know your customer are huge. That is a major demand from governments for regulations. And we actually see TRM Labs focusing on a lot of, crypto fraud in general and financial crime, manage financial crime risk, know your VASP, aka virtual asset service providers, forensics, transaction monitoring, which is anti-money laundering, all that kind of stuff. Why we're different. Extensive asset coverage. TRM supports 900,000 plus digital assets across 23 blockchains, including industry-leading NFT coverage and DeFi protocols, 80 plus risk categories, cross-chain analytics, and new data standard. This is for pretty much financial institutions, crypto business, government, and public sector as well. The reason why I bring this use case up is because when we're talking about, in terms of crypto regulations and crypto adoption from a government standpoint and even a financial institution standpoint, this is something that they're going to want. This is something that's actually a huge use case. You can pretty much read about this, company as well if you guys want to. They're actually a fairly large name in the game as well. But I think that this is going to be a fairly large use case in general. We do see backed by some top investors. Who are they, you ask? I don't know. Just PayPal, Visa, Citi Ventures, even American Express Ventures. Yeah, that's right. And how are they connected to Hedera? Well, Hedera Hashgraph and TRM Labs' new integration provides industry-leading security and compliance. Fairly huge. And of course, this is for, anti-money laundering, combating the financing of terrorism as well. And we do see Hedera's native cryptocurrency Hbar is now supported across all TRM solutions, and future assets issued on Hedera will also be supported. Users benefit from custom analytics and solutions that allow them to monitor risk, detect financial crime, and strengthen anti-money laundering / CFT compliance on Hedera. And of course, it's pretty much all talking about governments, financial institutions, pretty much, being a safer financial system for billions of people as well. This is huge. And I think that this is great to see as well. And we do see here the TRM Hedera network integration will enable Hedera ecosystem members to access Hedera network data within TRM and leverage the following TRM tools and technologies to comply with anti-money laundering / CFT regulatory requirements. So, in general, a lot of the stuff that is being connected within Hedera is really kind of solidifying their name as a major, safe haven for financial institutions, even just enterprise adoption in general, and even retail adoption as well. I really do think that Hedera is going to mint millionaires, in time, especially considering the fact that, we still have a lot left to look forward to in 2022, and we are in the top 30 currently, and we still have a lot more growth left in store for us because we are still looking into marketing, a lot more hype building as well. And quite frankly, if we're talking about Solana's market cap, I've always said in terms of Solana's market cap, we would be doing about a 765% increase in price. ADA, 652%. And of course, Ethereum, yeah, that's about a 74x. So do you think a 74x would make you a millionaire? Because I know it would make me a millionaire for sure. But of course, this is why I'm positioning myself in Hedera. I know long term that this is a huge player, but even short term, I do believe that we could easily grasp into the top 10. I think that we could, really kind of usurp, ADA and even Solana in terms of market cap at their all-time highs, because we got to remember, at their all-time highs, they had like about $100 billion in market cap. At $100 billion in market cap, this is where we would be, pretty much a 19x. At that point, that's a fairly large sum of money if you put in a little bit of a decent sum change, right? So in general, when we're talking about Hbar, I think that we are easily worth, $3 to $6 at the high end, right? Or not even at the high end, sorry, at the low end. At the high end, I've always said $6 to $10, pretty much at my highest points. But I've always settled for $3 to $6, which this is exactly why, because I think that this is easily a $100 billion asset. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, though. Of course, I hope that you all enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.